Hey everybody! Welcome to another episode of Trenny and C. I'm Trenny, this is C. We've got a really cool one for you today.
Yeah, so this was a friend of mine presented us with this bottle, and we are happy to have the opportunity to do a little bit of a review on it here.
This is each of our first tasting of this as well.
It is.
So
It's a bit of an unboxing.
Yeah, a bit of an unboxing, but it's, you know, the last quarter of this bottle.
Well, it's almost like a third, really,
or a third, or whatever.
But the nice thing is that the kind of if it's had some time to get a little bit of air in there and whatnot, so we should be able to be. We're kind of tasting it at its peak, optimal state where it should be as good as it's going to get.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
So what's kind of cool about this? This one checks a lot of boxes.
All of them.
This is. So, first of all, this is a blended Scotch whiskey by Dewars. You all know Dewars. It is 21 years old, natural color, non-chill filtered, 46% alcohol.
And for 21 years old, it's reasonably priced.
Oh, yeah, and there's also that.
This is, however, the... I'm not sure if they only sell it this way, but they're 375 milliliter bottles. They're small bottles.
So they're small bottles, but...
but they are... This is like... I want to say this was like $60. So you're talking about a full bottle of 21-year-old Scotch for like $120.
It's pretty good. It's really good.
Great price.
Do you know what? And the bottle shape is interesting. If you can see this, it's kind of like a... You can see from the top kind of better. It's almost like a...
Or the bottom.
Or it's a diamond. It's a diamond shape. And then they put the label at the front of the diamond. Kind of cool.
Yeah. And so they call it double. No, it's mellow yellow.
Mellow yellow, double works.
So double aged.
And by the way, that's not a Tim Hortons reference.
Yeah, we Canadians love our doubles. 4-stage aging, it says. Finished in Oloroso sherry casks, small batch.
So because that is a blended whiskey, that means, so the way that this one works is the first stage they put in a barrel some single grain whiskeys, and in another barrel or multiple barrels of each single malt whiskeys.
Right.
Second stage, they blend those single malt or single grain whiskeys together.
All right, and then continue to age them?
And continue to age them. Same with the single malt.
So now they've taken the single malts and put them together, and now they're aging them again.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, so they've taken multiple barrels, put it into small, less barrels. Then the third stage, they blend the...
Single malts and single grains.
Correct. And then the fourth stage, which makes it the double, is they do a finishing in sherry barrels.
Okay, so that is 1, 2, 3, 4 stages.
Yes.
Double aging. Okay, well, now that we know what the heck...
Oh, it's got a cork and everything. How classy. Nice.
Well, I would hope so.
Again, 46% is really nice. You don't see that too often on blends in general. You also don't see it too often on, higher aged whiskeys sometimes. Scotch whiskeys.
One thing that I find is interesting is that it has a bit of this kind of, and I've noticed this with the Linkwood 15-year-old. It has this more murkier color of like bronze.
Sure. I was going to say copper.
Yeah.
It's right.
So it's like, it almost has this grayness to it. Which, by the way, I effing loved Linkwood 15.
Totally.
But it is a unique color. Like when you pour it, I don't know, there's something, it's almost like it's foggy.
I don't know if you can see that very well.
It's got a bit of a foggy bottom.
Foggy moss even.
Okay, so on the nose.
Let's get to the nose here.
Nice fruitiness up front.
Yes. Oh yeah,
it's got a sweetness too.
I think it takes a second for my nose palate to open up, but the actual sherry notes and the extra aging in sherry barrels does stand out on the nose. Like that's a good quality sherry barrel on there. The age, I think, is really shining in this one, actually.
Are you getting like an oakiness?
It's not so much an oakiness. It's just for something that has grain whiskeys in it and single malts. So, you know, a lot of time when we talk about malt blends or like something like Monkey Shoulder where it's 3 single malts mixed together.
Yeah.
Where this is multiple grain whiskeys and multiple single malts. This almost has a more balanced and refined nose than
it's got a
something
very
like
nice
that,
kind of like soft nose, but it's there is something a bit charry on there, like almost like, in a way, I almost said peaty, or it's like almost like a weird, not weird, but like a mesquite or something. Not peaty, but mesquitier. Like there's an interesting spice.
There's like the sweetness of like a barbecue sauce, kind of like a barbecue style, but
it is very fruity,
really sweety.
But it's sweety, but it is it's got a grainy maltiness to it for sure, which is kind of like in a good way.
Oddly enough, I kind of get like a peach syrup kind of thing off of the nose too.
Because it is very fruity.
Honestly, this is a nose that I feel like you could dig into for a while.
Yeah, you could spend some time on that. It's very nice. It's not a booming nose, but it is.
No, there's not.
It's all there.
Yeah. But I'm also not digging to get a nose. It's there.
Yeah,
but there's a lot to it, I think,
soft,
is what it is.
Subtle, but like flavorful nose.
Yeah.
Right?
It smells like it's going to taste nice and sweet.
Yeah.
To me.
Okay, let's get into it.
Okay, let's go for it. Okay. That peatiness that you're talking about is way more on the palate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of that going on.
Yeah.
Like maybe even more than a little bit.
It's funny. It kind of reminds me, like I did a review by myself a number of months ago during COVID. Well, we're still in COVID, but during the main part. Yeah. The early stages. Whatever. The good part. The part everyone knows and loves.
It's always the main part if you have it.
Yeah, I guess so. But
it's never the main. I should say it's never the main part until you have it.
Yeah, exactly. So I was.
And you don't laugh about it once you have it either. Sorry, go ahead.
And in the beginning, yeah. Just anyway. I did a side-by-side review of all Aaron malt.
Right.
And there's one at the end that the very end one that I did. I didn't get the peaty note on the nose, and then as soon as I sipped it, it's like, whoa, that's a completely different flavor. So this is like, to me, a bit of a different flavor than the nose.
It's almost like the iodine of peat.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. But there's also like this, because it is a blended Scotch, you sometimes associate that with lesser quality, where the quality in this is really nice.
It's big booming flavor for sure. But it is like, that's kind of the dominant flavor in a way. But it is nice and sweet too.
It is. But I don't get a lot of those, when I picture grain style blended whiskeys. This is beyond that. This is better than that.
Oh, for sure.
Really nice nose. I'm going to say I think I like the nose better than the palate.
I don't get a massive sherry influence on it though.
Not on the palate, but I thought it on the nose.
I thought on the nose. So stupid. But the big notes that I'm getting off of the palate are the sweetness and that kind of peaty iodine
thing. The peat is there, yeah.
Huh.
Which I don't know that Dewars is really known for that. I can't speak to that really because I'm not a huge
Dewars buff
connoisseur of the Dewars.
Historian of Dewars.
Yeah, but it definitely has a little bit more peatiness than I was expecting. The nose, on the other hand, is a nose I really, really enjoy. And that's not to say the palate I don't enjoy, but the more I dig into whiskey, and it's been a number of years, we've been into whiskey for a long time, but I find the more I get into whiskey, the less peat I enjoy.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because I'm kind of like on a graph, I would have been like not into peat, then like kind of into it, and then like. And
it depends on the whiskey though, because I've had
Yeah, Lefroy
1994 Lefroy, which was...
We'll never live that down.
I mean, I hope we haven't built that one up too much, but it's...
Yeah, well, insane. Good luck finding it.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks to your buddy for doing this.
It's really good, but it wouldn't be like a go-to for me. It had a liveliness actually when it hit my palate, though. It did have some life and some sizzle. The 46% is nice. Mm-hmm. It works. It's not overpowering. It's really in that sweet spot.
I would say that sometimes it is kind of hard to pull out a bunch of money for a blended whiskey, especially if you could be getting a better experience with a single malt for maybe a little bit less money.
You know what? It has peat in the way that like Highland Park has it.
Yeah.
You know,
and I love Highland Park, but there's a honey to Highland Park that this doesn't have.
Yeah, this is more of like a vanilla or something.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And there's a little bit of that tobacco kind of vanilla to it. Mm-hmm. If that makes any sense. Like, so you know, like when you smell tobacco smoke being, mm-hmm. or a pipe tobacco or cigar tobacco without tasting it. That's kind of on the palate.
I guess the thing that's throwing me off is that it was like double, 4-stage aging, Oloroso sherry. So I'm thinking like a big sherry, like sweet sherry. I was kind of more picturing like a Glendronach.
Right.
And I ended up with a Highland Park.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like in a way, like that would be my comparison. Is like I went in expecting something and I kind of got something else.
Yeah.
And I guess that made me a little bit disappointed, in a way.
Well, do you know what? I mean, we should maybe edit this out, but I kind of wish I knew what the main single malts in Dewars was, because then it could, kind of explain it a little bit more. But
we don't ever do any research.
But we have enough experience on our palates to know what we like and what we don't.
Well,
and we have similar tastes when it comes to Scotch, I think.
And I mean, but what were the single malts in Dewars 21 years ago?
Yeah, true.
It might be totally different now.
It might not even exist. Maybe it is Highland Park.
Yeah, it could be. Isn't that like the Highland Park, like...
Oh, it looks pretty Celtic. Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, well, that was
fun. I was going to research it like we're live, but screw it.
We won't have time for that. Well, hey, if you haven't got the 2020 Survivor coin from Trinity and C, there's no time like the present.
It's probably the best one.
It's the best one. It's the best one. Go to PayPal and send $20 to recipient trinityandc@gmail.com, and you can get yourself a challenge coin.
And in the spirit of Dewars 21, send us $21.
Sure, yeah, that's a good. Yeah, do that.
They're very stackable, hey?
Yeah, oh, so stackable. Oh wow. Cheers! Click like, subscribe, leave a comment.
Bye.